Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to a Sunday night. It is the Earthmaster out here, May 5th, 2024. It is about 10:10 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 2.6 out here, somewhere out here. This mix of earthquake activity in the South America region. We'll get to all this clustering of earthquake activity here in just a minute, but I want to specifically pinpoint what's going on out here tomorrow. So there is some significant activity going on in highly populated regions out here across Oklahoma and Texas in terms of severe weather. Okay, a lot of my followers like the space weather activity, they like the earthquake activity, but fail to recognize the significance of weather activity out here. And tomorrow is not one of those days to disregard the weather out here, because this is a significant, literally a significant severe weather event taking place out here tomorrow across Oklahoma. And I absolutely love Oklahoma, northern Texas area. I was out here a couple days ago, well, the past week there for 10 days, observing some storm potential out there and whatnot, and met quite a few folks out there amongst various communities. And I want to be the light out there, providing some weather alerts out here, because Monday late afternoon into Monday night is looking at a potential tornado outbreak out here across Oklahoma and Texas, northern Texas area. Now, this is from Pivotal Weather. Okay, this is a forecast model here showing the significant tornado parameter, the fixed layer environment here, where all the ingredients tend to take place for a overall forecast. And look at this. Some of these models here are off the chart in terms of the chart down here. Look at this. If you look at this here in the bottom, this is well off the chart. High-end tornado potential here tomorrow across areas of Oklahoma and northern Texas. Now, that could include Oklahoma City, areas around Lawton. Goodness, I mean, I was just out here, folks. We seen some potential out. We seen some tornado activity out here last week, and nighttime scenarios are very violent, and this is very scary, because let me show you guys here the Storm Prediction Center outlook here for tomorrow. Now, right now, they have a moderate risk here, okay? This is just one category lower than the high status here. Number 5 here is the high category. They have not updated that yet to a high category, but I think here, folks, I'm thinking this time by the next update here from the Storm Prediction Center that we'll see a high outlook in terms of the categorical severe weather potential tomorrow. Now, this is extreme here. This is extreme in terms of the large tornado potential out here. I don't want to see loss of life. Goodness. It absolutely breaks my heart when I hear about fatalities and casualties out there due to weather. This is out there in the area I was just at. Literally. So I kind of want to tune into here what we're looking at. Okay, so tornado activity. Where can tornado activity take place? Anywhere within this circle here. See that green line? So as you go closer into the center area, around that 15% zone, that is the main area where ingredients and the potential for long track, severe, strong tornadoes are possible for Monday. Late Monday afternoon into Monday evening. We're talking about after 6 p.m. here, Central Time, is when we're expecting the tornado potential to ramp up. There will be early development out here, against the dry line here on the western Oklahoma area early afternoon. But the tornado potential won't ramp up until everyone's back at home with their families and getting to settle in. So don't disregard these early thunderstorms here, right? They may not be tornado warned when they fire up, but about 6 p.m. or so and into the early evening, that's when things really ramp up here. It's in an environment out here where things will really kick up. So that is the tornado potential. So even though you see my cursor out here against this 15% zone, do not take that as a early sensitivity warning, right? Anywhere out here in this zone here, 15% zone, 10% zone, 5% zone up in Norfolk, even 2% zone way up here around the Sioux Falls area. Don't let your guard down out here tomorrow. This is a significant event with a lot of potential here for tomorrow. I really wish I could go out there tomorrow for to cover this event, but I can't. I got a lot of commitments out here, and I have to take care of the family and the kids here on the home front. But I'm trying to get this warning out. Aside from the tornado warning, look at this huge hail threat. We're talking about some mega-sized hail. Probability of at least 2-inch diameter hail or larger within 25 miles of a point. That includes some very populated areas in Oklahoma City, Wichita, Norman, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, and Denton, Texas, down there. That's a huge threat. So if we're looking at one day out of the year that needs to be watched, say we were looking at an average of the severe weather threat out here from winter, fall, spring, and summer. One day out of the year that needs watching the most is tomorrow, Monday, May 6th, 2024. That is the day that needs to be watched, okay, folks? This is not something just being put out for fear-mongering. I don't do the fear-mongering here on this channel at all whatsoever, whether it's earthquake activity or weather events. This needs to be watched pretty closely here. All the pinpoints out here for severe weather are pointing towards a significant outbreak of tornado activity out here. So check this out here. This is the tornado parameter here. The significant tornado parameter, around 02Z time tomorrow. So that puts it at about 8 o'clock tomorrow in the evening here, roughly Central Time here. Look at that. These things are off of the chart across Oklahoma here. So, this is not a rural area event. This is not going to happen out in the western areas of Oklahoma where nothing's going on and you just got some prairie land going on out there. But, there's some major significant potential out here, folks. It's a little scary. Let me show you guys the NAM model out here. So let me make sure I got the most recent data here. The NAM model, this is the numerical model prediction. This is what the computers, right? We're all relying on computers, all relying on forecasts and whatnot. And anyone can check this out, whether it's you, me, or a meteorological retimmer. Tropical tidbits, pivotal weather. There's many other sites out here that we can check out. But this is the NAM model. And as we put this into roughly about the late afternoon time period, we're seeing some storms pop up here. Let me bring this up just a little bit so we can see what's going on here across the area. And this is very concerning. Pop that off here for tornado activity. Again, this is roughly around 6 p.m., valid at 6 p.m. Central Time here, and things are only going to get worse as we head into the evening. There's two separate lines here. There's really two distinct lines here that you can see associated with the low pressure system, and many of these areas are very, very capable of producing some tornado supercells out here, and a lot of these models are trending towards supercell development. This one's not so much, but if you look at the tornado parameter out here, there's a broad area, not one area that's confined. This is a broad regional potential outbreak out here of significant tornado activity out here tomorrow night. This needs watching very closely, and I think that these guys will probably, and I'm talking about these guys, the Storm Prediction Center, they will update this to a high risk category because all the dynamics are set up out here. Let me go back here to this is a GFS model. This may not look like much, right, on a large scale basis here, but there's the low pressure system way up north of the Oklahoma area, located in the South Dakota region, it looks like. But the lift associated with these frontal lines here, notice that? Low pressure providing that lift, the uplift, the south. In this case, it's going to be the north eastward motion here of the uplift, along with the Gulf moisture, is going to provide, just enough significant lift there that these supercells will fire up. Let me back out here real quick here. See if we got HRR model here. We don't have a lot of HRR model. Here's this is the WRF model, ARF model. That does show the potential line development. And again, this is going to be late afternoon, early evening, after 6 p.m., folks. And we can already see what looks like some severe supercell developing there with the potential for tornado activity. And that's, again, concerning because that goes right over the Oklahoma City area. Look at that line developing right there. That's a massive severe weather potential event tomorrow. Not only the tornado potential, but also some significant, very large hail. So let's go into the reading of what's going on here tomorrow. Numerous thunderstorms are expected to develop and move eastward Monday afternoon through Monday night across parts of the southern and beautiful Central Plains area. Long track, potentially strong tornadoes with very large hail and giant hail are going to be accompanied these supercells that are coming up here. There's a lot of wording in here, folks. They're talking about large to very large hail, around 2 to 2.5 inch in diameter are possible with the initial stages of the development. Potentially stronger after that. Gusts around 80 miles per hour once the convective line organizes and consolidates. Goodness, it's so crazy how this storm system out here develops out there across the dry line. So we're talking about hail between 3 and 4 inches in diameter, along with 80 miles per hour. So you take a 4-inch diameter hailstone and throw that at 80 miles per hour at a window, at a house, at a person. I'm trying to imagine that right now, but I don't want to go into detail because I'll probably get removed off YouTube for saying that, because that's a bad scenario out there. That's nothing anyone wants to get caught in when it comes to experiencing large hail. 3 to 4 inch diameter hail thrown at you at 80 miles per hour. So, yeah, not a good scenario out there tomorrow, folks. So, um, we have to be on guard tomorrow. Tomorrow's not a day to forget about the weather. Forget about, well, we live in, let's see here. Say someone, for example, lives in, there's northern Texas, Oklahoma. Okay, you got a beautiful little town out here, outside of. I was out just out here last week. Say you have a little town outside of the Chickasha area, right? Outside of Dibble, in between Chickasha and Dibble. Not really seeing things showing up out here, but there's quite a few communities out here, quite a bit. So this area is in a major hazardous area in terms of the tornado potential out here tomorrow. We're not talking about concentration of population that's being targeted. We're talking about an overall threat out here of significant tornado activity out here across this area. So don't let your region define the potential here tomorrow, because I don't want people to be caught off guard, because Sulphur, Oklahoma here, last week when I was out there chasing, got hit by 2 tornadoes. And literally I was out chasing that tornado that night, and we decided to call it quits. We decided to back out because it was just too windy. It was too rainy. It was a high precipitation storm. We couldn't see anything as we were headed towards that area. So me and Miss Mimi's decided to sleep alongside the road in the car, and not chase any further. But that town eventually got hit with a large destructive tornado. This is going to be a very similar event tomorrow, folks. And I don't want to see anyone get hurt. I don't want to see destruction. I want everyone to be safe tomorrow. I want everyone to at least have a fighting chance of dodging these statistics out there. I don't want anyone to become a fatality. So tomorrow, we got how many people do we have out there against the reading tomorrow? For the tornado potential in the hatched area, we have 4,814,000 people there that is in the hazard zone tomorrow for significant tornado activity. Okay, I have quite a few viewers out there in Oklahoma. I want to keep you guys on here on the channel. I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to continue to watch me. And tomorrow is an event like none other. If you don't have a tornado shelter where you're at for tomorrow, I think it's best to advise to go to somewhere where there is a tornado shelter, whether it's your family, whether it's a business. If you're in a mobile home park, maybe it might be a good idea to hook up to your mobile home or your travel trailer and get out of the region for a day or so. Take that unexpected trip out of the area that's in this listed region. So, this is not a fear-mongering event. I don't like to fear-monger. You guys know I do not fear-monger. But when the the Storm Prediction Center out here shows a significant pattern, and we've seen all this tornado activity here over the last few days, it's in keen advisory here to take heed to the warning. Take heed to the potential out here, because the thought of, well, it'll never happen to me. I've never seen any tornadoes. It's always hit west of me, or it's always hit east of me. It's going to pass overhead. That's not, that's not cool. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that verbiage. I don't want to see anyone hurt tomorrow. I want to see everyone safe tomorrow. I would love to see this as a dud, a forecast dud, but it's not going to happen. So, do what you have to do. Move that trailer. Stay the night in the storm shelter tomorrow. Stay the night at your family, wherever there's maybe a storm shelter. But goodness, don't be caught off guard. Please. Please don't be caught off guard. I honestly hate, and it breaks my heart to hear that there's fatalities and stuff like that because of tornado activity out here late at night. And this is going to be a late afternoon, evening event. When people are caught off guard, I don't want to see it, folks. I don't. All right, there's a lot to talk about here in terms of space weather activity. Goodness, we've seen quite a bit of M-flare activity, quite a bit of X-flare activity. We are looking at some elevated activity here in terms of the current ongoing expected CME, right? It looks like we're experiencing KP index up around the 5 level. But I don't know. Look at the aurora forecast right now. It looks pretty quiet. So that means that things are stabilized here across the BT-BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field, meaning that the magnetic field here of the Earth is doing its job in reflecting the CME that occurred or that's hitting us right now. So this was forecasted here. We're really not seeing anything major in terms of aurora forecast or the auroras right now, but tonight we're expecting a G2 class storm from a large CME that's headed this way, but it doesn't look like things are kicking up for now. We'll watch this overnight though. The aurora forecast, as shows here, is quiet. Not a whole lot. Things are stabilized. Far as flaring potential goes, goodness, we have a very active region out there across the northwestern region of the sun. This thing is just blasting with M flares and multiple X flares. That's been quite a dynamic sunspot there. And of course, that is the culprit there of producing the CME that's hitting us tonight. Here's the latest activity. Currently experiencing an M flare, an M1.1 it looks like. But over the last 24 hours, look at that. Numerous M flares and a couple X flares as well. So quite the activity stirring up out here. Goodness. All right. So looking at the magnetic structure here of the fields, let's see what we got. Get some excitement going on here. Got to adjust the microphone for it. So this is the area of concern in terms of complexity. But I think we have a showstopper. We have a showstopper right here. Center disk. Oh, almost center disk here. Potentially going to be able to produce some large M and X flares here. Look at this. Very dynamic sunspot here. We're going to have to watch here in the coming days. A couple other regions behind that. And overall threat here looks like a 50% chance for an X flare. Goodness, I don't recall the last time I've seen that. 50% chance for an X flare, and proton event elevated at 30% chance as well. M flare way up there at 90%, 99% certainty for a C flare, obviously, with all this M flare and X flare activity. And we'll have to watch this pretty closely. Very active, a couple active sunspots out here currently facing the Earth. But right now, the aurora forecast, minimal. Even though the KP index is elevated right here. So we'll watch that. Either way, get out there if you have clear skies. even though things are not showing elevated here on the Aurora 30-minute forecast. It does look like the arrival of that expected CME is occurring right now. All right, far as any elevated earthquake activity out here, we did see some movement in the Indonesia Islands area. 6.2 coming in there earlier this morning. Couple fives coming into the area as well. Really no major large-scale events taking place. As far as Southern California goes, getting a little clustering going on here across the area of the San Jacinto Fault Zone, noticing this earthquake activity down here. And Utah, I know a lot of folks asking what's going on in Utah up there. They have seen a little bit of earthquake activity up there, specifically in this region outside of the Blue Bell study area. I wonder if that's studying earthquake activity. I don't know. I'm not for sure about the Blue Bell area, but they did see a 3.9 and a 4.4 in the last week. Now, this area as a whole has seen some upper 6.0 earthquakes here historically. So I covered this, I think it was this morning or last night. Not for sure exactly when. You'll have to check me on that. But this area definitely capable of producing some large earthquakes. So these 4-pointers could be an impending sign here of some larger scale activity about ready to take place in the region. So heads up. Also north here, if you look into the Preston area, very extreme southern Idaho area, seeing a little bit of swarming out here as well. But it seems as though regionally across the area, things have been heightened. So watch for some movement out there. You guys are a ways away from the plate boundary, but you know what? The North American craton exists out here across the center portion of the North American plate, and everything is kind of crunching up against that area slowly but surely. And there has been some large earthquakes out here historically, so we've got to watch that pretty closely. Let's see what else we got here. Northern California, a handful of smaller quakes out here. Gorda Ridges, look at that, 2.9. We have been seeing some a little bit of elevated activity out here across the Blanco fracture zone recently. Let's check out the tremor map tonight and see what's going on here. Got about 137 epicenters of tremor outside of Portland and into Northern California right here. Now, this activity is not surface based, but subduction zone based here, underneath the area, about 45 kilometers deep into the subduction zone of the Cascadia subduction zone area. Aside from that, a little bit of activity here and there out in these divergent zones here of the Chile fracture zone, a 4.9 and a 4.9 coming in earlier today. Also further up north here, a 5.4. So we're getting a little bit of scattered activity out here against the eastern Pacific and adjacent plates, indicative here of that earthquake activity. We'll watch areas around South America for some further movement. The general theory here exists that there's the subduction zone quakes out here against the Pacific and the Nazca plate provide further strain up here against the subduction zone of the Peru-Chile Trench. So watch these areas here pretty closely. It's been rocking and rolling, but along with this elevated earthquake activity, we should definitely keep an eye on it. The area around Hawaii, things really haven't kicked back up yet, but we'll check back on that in the morning time and see what happens, because things are, they're definitely elevated out here for sure. The main thing is, folks, stay weather aware tomorrow, okay? As much as I preach the earthquake activity and, talk about the elevated potential of earthquakes, tomorrow is a big deal for Oklahoma. and southern Kansas. This whole area out here tomorrow needs watching, and I want everyone to be safe. I want everyone to be spreading the news about the severe potential tomorrow. This is not one of those days to be complacent. Loss of life and fatalities happen because of complacency. So let's make that not happen tomorrow at all. I do have quite a few family members out there in Oklahoma, and viewers as well. I was just out here last week, and the areas listed out here in the red and the orange. Didn't quite go up into way up into Nebraska. I still want to check out Nebraska because I don't know. I love Nebraska and Kansas area. It looks absolutely beautiful. But this is your very typical severe weather day out here in the tornado alley. Your typical tornado alley zone. Okay, so these folks know about it. They know what can happen. They know what can take place out here. The sure way of surviving this activity tomorrow is making sure you have a plan. Okay, please have a plan. That's what I'm praying. That's what I'm asking for tomorrow for these guys out here. So we'll cover this in the morning, see if there's any other update out here. But for now, have a good night. Okay, Sunday night. We'll catch you guys back out here tomorrow morning, Monday morning. And, that's all I got. Hopefully these guys don't upgrade this to a high risk tomorrow, because then it only gets worse. But we'll catch you guys back out here in the morning. Stay safe, everyone. Peace out.